happening, guys? We are back here again today for another video on the Audi RS3 build series. It's about that time. Very exciting. Looking forward to a dyno session. Check out what kind of power we're putting down for our project RS3. As you guys know, dealing with Unitronic Stage 1 Plus 93 with our drop-in filter as well as the CTS intercooler. So pretty light as far as bolt-ons go, but we want to kind of establish the baseline just to see what kind of power the RS3 makes at the wheels. If you guys haven't already, I'll be sure to put a card right up here if you want to check out the full playlist for the RS3. So without further ado, let's get to it. So I'm pretty excited, guys. Definitely look forward to see what the RS3 can do. Be sure to leave a comment if you want to kind of give a prediction as far as what you can expect from Unitronic Stage 1 Plus on the RS3. Alrighty guys, so you just saw it there. The results are in. We've completed our dyno session for the RS3. Let's take a look at the numbers. So taking a look at our first run, you can see we managed to put down an impressive 436 wheel horsepower and 445 foot-pounds of torque. Moving along to our second run, we did 435 wheel horsepower and 451 foot-pounds of torque. So right off the bat, I'm gonna say I am extremely well satisfied with these numbers. You guys know Unitronic has done an outstanding job providing strong consistency with their performance software for a number of years. So definitely a consistent option that has proven to perform extremely well based on these results. Now, I know a lot of people, they can get a little bit sensitive when it comes to looking at like dyno graphs and numbers. There's a lot more to it when it comes to the overall performance and drivability of a car than just looking at simple graph. You're looking at a number on a piece of paper. But as far as testing our real world scenario, I was really happy to see the RS3 put down the numbers that it did. Not to mention, guys, today is literally like the most brutally hot summer day here in the South. Looking at 100-degree temperature, back-to-back consistency with the RS3. I think we can all agree the CTS intercooler upgrade was definitely well worth the money. As you can see, we've got really consistent numbers, back-to-back pulls in brutal summer heat here in the South. So taking a look at the graph, you can see we've got our peak power right around 6,500 RPM, 6.66, that's a little creepy. And you can see our torque obviously being strong at a very low RPM, right at around 4,000. So again, the 2.5 liter Daza always proves to be impressive. It's really nice to get that aggressive, that robust torque at a fairly low RPM. As a comparative reference, I'll make sure to put a graph for the estimated crank figures for the Unitronic tune, just so you can see an example from the estimated crank figures to wheel figures. Now guys, as always, please bear in mind, when it comes to looking at dyno numbers, they are very subjective. There's a lot of different factors that come into play when it comes to temperature, your quality of fuel, your altitude, the type of dyno. All these different factors can really affect the results, so please bear in mind, at the end of the day, dyno is a fantastic tool. Obviously, working through your pathway with various bolt-on upgrades, you can really measure your gains from your starting point to looking at what you're able to accomplish with your bolt-on upgrades and tuning. So overall, I'm extremely happy, guys. Very impressed. This definitely exceeded my expectations going into this dyno session with the RS3. I mean, how can you beat that? Off-the-shelf tune, 93 octane, all-wheel drive, 100-degree summer heat, with nothing more than an off-the-shelf tune, an intercooler, and a drop-in filter. I think that's pretty darn good. If you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you'll probably recall that during our BMW 340i build series, we actually did a couple dyno runs, both with stage 1 as well as stage 2. Comparatively speaking, the RS3, even with just basic stage 1 software, we actually did outperform the BMW B58 with a similar setup. Didn't go past MHD OTS stage 2 with a downpipe, but again, This always proves the capabilities of the 2.5 liter 5-cylinder. Without even getting into exhaust, we're still able to do some pretty healthy numbers. If it wasn't obvious, I'm a pretty huge fan of the B58 platform as well. So owning two cars, it's pretty fun to kind of explore the differences, compare and contrast, and really put these two cars side by side to see where we can find the strengths and weaknesses. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you guys want to see a specific comparison comparing the B58 to the Daza platforms. So the next thing I want to talk about is general safety measures for running one of these cars on the dyno. So first things first, just general practice here. You want to make sure your car is in good running condition. You want to make sure that everything is taken care of as far as all of your related maintenance components. So you want to have good plugs, you want to have good coils, you want to have healthy oil in the car, you want to make sure that your oil level is appropriate, you want to make sure the vehicle is free of any type of leaks, you want to make sure that your tires are properly balanced and you have sufficient tread. Specifically on the RS3, again, bear in mind these are all-wheel drive vehicles, so you're going to need to have an all-wheel drive dyno. I prefer DynoJet, I've always been a DynoJet kind of guy. There's a lot of different types of dynos, so you're going to obviously get some different results depending on what is available in your area. But for me, fortunate enough to work with the guys over at Euro Empire where they have the mechanically linked all-wheel drive DynoJet. Now, something else very important when it comes to the MQB all-wheel drive cars specifically, within the calibration, whether you're going with APR, Unitronic, or integrated engineering, whatever your tuning software is, you want to make sure that through your software that you disable the kickdown feature, which can also sometimes be referred to as auto downshift. Your vehicle's on the dyno, you're getting ready to go wide open throttle, and if you don't disable the kickdown or the auto downshift, you could run into a problem when you really go to hammer it and the person, who's operating the car on the dyno, they may or may not be a Volkswagen Audi guy. When you put your foot all the way down on the accelerator, you can feel that if you keep applying pressure, you'll feel that click at the bottom of the pedal travel. And what that typically will do is it will force the lowest possible downshift. So in a real world setting, you're in fourth gear, you're getting ready to go all out, and all of a sudden they're like, yo, what the heck just happened? It just wanted to downshift into third, which definitely can cause some disruption on the dyno. So I would highly recommend, if you're going to be doing this, I always recommend disabling the kickdown feature or auto downshift. I do know as well a lot of people will operate these cars on two-wheel drive DynoJets in the front-wheel drive fashion. That is also going to be an option for you as well. Some of you guys may know there is a dyno mode which can be activated through a sequence of procedures. I highly, highly advise against doing this for a very important reason, and that is because once you really lay into the throttle, what can happen is if there's too much input from the steering wheel, more than a couple degrees, you have a very, very small margin for error. You can actually cause the car to kick itself out of dyno mode, which is going to be an absolute drivetrain catastrophe when you've got it strapped down on the rollers. So again, I cannot stress it enough. Do not use dyno mode on any all-wheel drive Audi or Volkswagen car. Now, if you do choose to run your car in front-wheel drive on a two-wheel drive dyno, you want to make sure that you lift up the rear seat and you can see there's a cover. You're going to go ahead and lift it up. It's going to be underneath the seat on the driver's side. And then from there, you can disconnect the Haldex module. So no matter what happens, you have absolutely no power going to the rear wheels, which will allow you to safely run the car in front-wheel drive. USP Motorsports actually makes a pretty cool product. It's called the Burnout Box. You guys might have seen I did a video on that a couple years ago on the Project A3 Quattro. So that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for today's video, guys. Thank you all so much for joining me today on the dyno session for the RS3. I am, again, very, very satisfied with the results. Definitely exceeded my expectations. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts. If you have an RS3 or a TTRS, let me know what your car was able to put down at the wheels. Always like to hear your feedback. That's all for today, guys. Be sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe for more. We've got a lot more upgrades planned here in the near future for the RS3. Thank you as always. I'll be sure to see you all in the next one. Have a great day.